based on the evidence. It's always been, this process has taken this long because they were waiting for the results of the medical exam. So I will say that I do have confidence based on conversations and based on things that have been done that there are going to be at least 2 individuals that's going to be gone before the grand jury.
To clarify, does that mean that you and the family will be bringing charges then, criminal charges?
Well, we don't, I wish I did get to bring criminal charges. Then everybody would be charged with something. But no, that's going to be with the Texas Rangers and the district attorney's office.
So you're still relying on the DA right now?
I feel confident standing here, and I don't believe I'm going to have to take my words back, or at least hope I don't have to take my words back.
Right.
That at least 2 individuals are going to be gone before the grand jury.
And do you have any sense right now of when charges might come down, or is it just a waiting game?
It's a waiting game, but I do think there's going to be something that's going to happen here in June.
I understand you did meet with the district attorney before this, and correct? Can you share anything of how that conversation went?
Not getting into any particulars, I will say that the individuals that we have met with have fully answered questions that the family has. And again, the case has been what they have relied on, and it's just the evidence, the video and the medical exam or the autopsy report that supports what's in that video. So I think with those 2 things that are now connected, I think one can surmise that there are going to be charges that's going to be brought forward. Another thing, we hoping also that the termination proceedings are going to be done the proper way, and that if there's an indictment, and I'm not going to say if, when there's an indictment, hopefully that's going to help speed the termination process along. But again, you guys haven't seen the video yet. Marino and Garcia should not be the only 2 that's being terminated. The nurses from JPS, in fact, it should go beyond termination. They should never have the ability to ever have to care for someone again, the manner in which they treated him.
The attorney representing Lieutenant Garcia has said publicly that his role in all of this is new, and that all of the facts have not yet come out. To get him responsible.
Okay, it's not what he said, it's what he didn't say. And what this case is about is, what did Garcia do to intervene? In that press statement, I didn't see Garcia say, not one single time, Garcia's attorney stated that Garcia was attempting to pull Marino off of Anthony when Anthony said that he couldn't breathe. He didn't say that. Basically, what I took from that press statement is that he's actually agreeing with us. He's saying that the medical professional who we allegedly summoned upstairs didn't do anything. And we agree with that, which is why we've been saying all along that the medical staff should also be liable in this situation.
Mrs. Johnson, if you could say something directly to Garcia and Marino, we don't like going to the mic. What would those words mean to those 2 gentlemen today?
Killed my son. What you did is a pattern of practice. You cannot tell me that that wasn't going on before. I think the jail has just gotten lucky. And I use the term lucky because I am sure that same performance they did on my son, they've done to others. And I'm really hoping that will come out, that others will one step forward and speak about this. Because I think that's what's been going on in the jail. It just so happens we're little people. My son was only 5'4", maybe 160 pounds. That's a 300-pound body that laid against him. He didn't stand a chance. So that's what I say to them. Let's get ready, because we're coming out.
Mr. Washington indicated that it was like opening up a new wound hearing the ME's report. Just as a family, what emotions are going through you right now, just talking about this with all this new information now?
Straight up anger. The one thing that they want us to suppress is the one thing I'm going to show. You
You don't want us to be angry about something like my mom just stated that you always have done. And maybe we all have to have a sit down and look back on that video. Because Mr. Garcia, how can you have seen that? If that was anybody else in the street, you would have intervened. That was a fight, a helpless fight at that. And one thing about this family, we expose the truth. That's why we're quiet. That's why we say to ourselves and we take care of ourselves. The one thing we will expose. And we're going to make everybody say the one thing out loud. You didn't care because you never have. That has been ingrained in Tarrant County, that has been ingrained in the state of Texas, as well as the United States of America. You don't care about mental health. Whether it be a man or a woman or a baby or elderly, you don't care, and you've shown it. If that's not how it is, then you need to explain what kind of care that was. Sitting, standing, recording, that's the best you can do? Yeah. You don't know this pain, but we will bring it onto you in terms of you will be exposed, you will admit the crimes that you have been embedded in, the crimes that you have been comfortable with, the crimes that has made you sleep every night, confident enough to say, well, I didn't do much. Yeah, because you've been embedded with that crime. Y'all been embedded with violence. It's been proven now. Now you guys need to say it. Yes, we have.
I want to say for me, for the end results, I'm happy, I'm glad, I'm ecstatic. Thank God the MD is not behind the Raiders who still have not said anything to us about this case, which is unacceptable. But for me, I'm happy that everyone can finally see that it was a homicide. My brother was Moreno did not care about my brother, which is why his attorney had to say it, because they both know he did wrong. At the end of the day, he was the one who killed him, physically, the mechanically. That's Moreno's. Now Garcia, I don't know what that attorney saw in the video. I don't know what video he has seen, but his accounts of it is incorrect, and he should stop where he's at now. My brother did not die within the 3 minutes. I saw that video. Mr. Garcia, I don't even know what his voice sounds like. I didn't hear it. I heard my brother's voice. I heard my brother say he can't reach twice. And I saw Mr. Garcia still video on my brother's face. Did not say anything. Even after he died. Did not tell Moreno, get off of him. Did not tell any medical staff to come upstairs. I did not hear that. So I don't know what his attorney heard. But I didn't hear it, and I saw the whole video.
Now, I also want to make a point to fight. That's a verb in the dictionary. It means to take part in a violent struggle involving the exchange of physical blows or the use of weapons. It wasn't a fight. My son did not fight. After the pepper spray, he pretty much tried to gather himself and just succumb to whatever it is they were asking of him. And so I just need to make sure that this out in the public as well. It wasn't a fight.
And Mr. Garcia has that on video. That's why I don't understand why he did not say anything. He saw my brother not fighting and still chose to keep Moreno's knee on my brother's back and did nothing to help. That's our problem.
Mr. Washington, have you reached out?
Have you made more attempts to speak with the sheriff's office about the release of the rest of the video over the last week or so?
We said it before. What Sheriff Wayborn has been saying all along is political propaganda. I mean, and he's been talking on both sides of the aisle. So when he said if the family asked him to release the video, that he would consider releasing it, but the family publicly asked him to release the video, and he's gone silent.
Right.
So that's what he's saying, and it's what he's not saying, basically.
Mr. Washington, can you tell us if there's been a formal request for the DOJ to step in and investigate this?
Yes.
And if so, was that by you?
We have made a formal request. We understand that one of the Tarrant County commissioners has made a request. And I just read yesterday that Congressman Mark Veazey has also made a request. So I think there's been an number of requests that the Department of Justice should be here relatively soon.
The family has been mentioning that y'all haven't been able to have a meeting, an audience with Wayborn. I think even as recently as Janelle, the last Tarrant County Commissioners meeting when you were escorted out. Is that still the case? You haven't been able to meet with him, all doors closed?
It's been Tuesday. I went up there last Tuesday, going back to what you requested. We wanted the family to come meet with you to go release the tape. The very first time we did that with our lawyer, you locked the door. After I left from the commissioner's court, because like I said, Mr. O'Hare, he must got stuff confused. Because I've had a conversation with Wayborn, and when it comes down to respect, I deserve it, especially in this manner. Last Tuesday went up, his secretary spoke that he was going to meet and they were supposed to bring it out. It's been a week already. You guys didn't have the knee on my brother's neck, or his back. It wasn't you guys. So I don't know why you can't make sure you hold people accountable. If this is what you stand for, it doesn't make any sense. And then every day it goes by, every day we don't hear from the Texas Rangers formally, every day we don't hear back from Mr. Wayborn, because from the very first time you met with them, you're supposed to have a meeting in his back. But he's over here meeting with the same media he told us not to trust. So we're still waiting for that. And with press and everybody else in that commissioner's court, you need to see the video, because no one's going to understand why I'm like this. No one's going to understand why I'm not stopping. Everybody always going to see is, oh, well, you need to present this a certain way. You need to come out a certain way. Absolutely not, because we did that already.
Your brother did that.
We did it. And my brother did it trying to get help, and you turned him away. So what is it now?
And I will tell you, if it wasn't for us having the limited meetings with the district attorney's office, this family would not be getting answers from anyone. I think it's sad that no one from the Texas Rangers has taken the opportunity to meet with this family. You would think in an investigation that they would want to meet with the family and say, hey, tell me about Anthony. Tell me what was going on. Give me these few things. Not one meeting. Sheriff Wayborn, the only meeting that he had with the family, well, one of the only meetings, he was dishonest. He told the family that Anthony died at the hospital. So he gave the family the impression that Anthony was fighting to live, and he ended up dying at the hospital. And when we saw the video, we discovered that he didn't even make it to the hospital. But the pattern that we've seen, I've had conversations from a number of families here in Tarrant County who have said they have also got that same information from Sheriff Wayborn telling them that their child died at the hospital. And we're starting to realize that the reason you want to say that they died at the hospital because you don't want the public to know that they died in Tarrant County because of the lack of care that they received. I mean, we heard when this first came out, there was a report that there was a shank. Sheriff Wayborn said that. He came out. Let me tell you what Sheriff Wayborn didn't tell you all. He didn't tell you that they didn't clean that cell. He didn't tell you that. They are supposed to clean the cell each time somebody has gone in there. So they placed Anthony into a dirty cell. They have other things, including that shank, in there. And he has the audacity to come out and tell the public that Anthony had a shank. He ought to be ashamed of himself for doing that. He should come out to the public and say, you know what? We dropped the ball. Right. We dropped the ball, we did things wrong, and we're gonna do things better. But what did he do? Somebody was interviewing him, and he said, hey, I welcome the Department of Justice to come in here. In fact, the Tarrant County Jail is a nice place to be, and he had to catch himself. He had to catch himself because he was acting like he was talking about a resort or something. Right. So Sheriff went on his starts at the top, right? He wants to put it on Marino, and he wants to place it on Garcia, which it should be placed on them. But under his administration, we currently have 60 plus deaths. What is the standard? I want to know, what is the standard here in Tarrant County? How many deaths do we have to have in Tarrant County before we say that's unacceptable?
Not one more.
I mean, so 60 plus deaths and he's still the sheriff and nobody's asking questions? Right. We need to be asking questions. Why is he still in charge?
Right.
And Mr.
That's
Edward,
right.
I know you said that you retired, but you didn't want to retire. during COVID because you didn't want to become a coward, well, I want to let you know. I know what you said with the public and all that. But just know, when you go to bed at night, 8 people know that you're a coward. There's 8 people that know through and through that you are the biggest coward of them all. No matter what you do, no matter what vacation, no matter what counselor, no matter what therapist that you're going to try to erase, just know 8 people know that you are the biggest coward of them all. And you have the audacity to shake our hand. You have the audacity to try to give me medicine because of the way my neck was rolling. Yeah. Remember that. There's 8 people that go to bed every night knowing that you are the biggest coward of them all. Right underneath the guy who wears the big cowboy hat, Mr. Weber. And yes, Mr. Weber, thank you for letting us know pre-hand that we were going to like you. Now it's official. The Johnson family does not like you. Thank you for making us already have that in our heart when we left the meeting from you the very first time.
I would just ask all the community groups that are out here to just raise your hand, all the various community groups that are out here. I mean, these individuals, when you see their hands up, these are the individuals who've been fighting the fight. They are the ones who have been leaving their jobs, coming out to the public and pleading with you all to see that we have a problem. They're the ones who have done all the hard work. So while we can stand up here and we can talk about Anthony, they can tell you about all the debt that's been taking place in Tarrant County because they tried to prevent it. That's what they were out here. They tried to prevent what happened to Anthony. Look, what's even worse, a week after Anthony's death, there was another death.
Right.
Chastity Bonner, just 1 week, later. So you would think, well, not exactly a week, but sometime after, but you would think that the Tarrant County would have said, you know what, we're gonna have every doctor in this facility because there's not gonna be another death here in Tarrant County in 2024, and it didn't happen. But this group, I just applaud all the work, hard work that they've been doing because they tried to make a difference and nobody listened. And so now they can go and they can tell you all that we told you so. We tried to tell you that there was a problem and nobody wanted to listen. What we listened to was the political propaganda from the sheriff, who's always has a way to make things look good. Commissioner Simmons also has been fighting and trying to make a difference. She's been fighting and telling the other commissioners, we have a problem. But let me tell you what's so crazy about this whole situation. I read that Commissioner Simmons requested that the commissioners be allowed to watch the video footage in closed session, not in public, in closed session, and the sheriff said no. That tells you what's going on in the Tarrant County. When you have commissioners who can't even watch the video, I think they need to be able to watch the video so they know how bad this problem is.
Yeah.
We're gonna take one more question and
What's next, Mr. Washington?
I mean, what's next is we're hoping again that there are going to be some indictments by the end of the month. That's what we're hoping for. We would like to see there be arrest warrants issued, but I will say we're hoping that by the end of the month there will be indictments. So we know that process, the family knows that process can take some time. But I will tell you, and we said it all along, it's no secret. Every single person that played a role in Anthony's death, we plan to hold them fully accountable.
Right.
It's no secret. And the family also wants everyone to know, they understand that this is not just about Anthony, because we can't bring Anthony back. It's about change.
Yeah.
And this family wants more than anything else to see that there's going to be change in the Tarrant County Jail, because parents are not supposed to bury their children. And they don't want this to happen to nobody else.
Yeah.
We are going to continue to fight even after the indictments
It's just
to
beginning.
get change.
This is just the
We want to
beginning.
see change. And we are going to continue to fight until that happens, because this cannot happen to them.
Thank you.
All right, well, at that point, thank you all again for being here. This concludes this portion of the press conference. However, there are other non families and organizations out here if you would like to individually speak with any of them. I want to give you all some spellings in case anybody needs any proper spellings. Again, thank you all for being here. Please keep the family of Anthony Johnson Jr. in your prayers. This fight will not end, so please keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. So as far as proper spellings, today you heard from obviously Attorney Darrell Washington. You heard from Dr. Michael Bell, who represents Unity in the Community Coalition. You also heard from Janelle and Chanel Johnson, spelled Janell and Chanell. You heard from the parents of Anthony Johnson Jr. You heard from his father, Anthony Johnson Sr. And you heard from his mother. And the spelling of her name is Jacquelyne. You also heard from Anthony Johnson Jr.'s nephew, Mr. Corbin, and that's spelled Corbin Johnson. And you're 10 years old. Okay, again, thank you for everyone else that's out here. Ms. Pamela Johnson, Pastor Ryan Price, Catherine Godby, Donnell Ballard and your crew, and everybody else, thank you all for being here.